Going across straight now to Prime Minister Modi, who is at the mausoleum of the father of the nation, Banga Bandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman in Tungipada of Gopalganj district there in Bangladesh. Let's take a listen.
करने के लिए खुद बांग्लादेश की प्रधानमंत्री शेख हसीना जी मौजूद हैं। उनके मंत्रिमंडल के कई सदस्य भी वहां पर मौजूद नजर आ रहे हैं। तो निश्चित तौर पे हमने कल भी देखा कि कैसे प्रधानमंत्री को एयरपोर्ट पर रिसीव करने के लिए खुद शेख हसीना जी पहुंची थी, जो कि प्रधानमंत्री हैं बांग्लादेश।
Even as we speak, visiting the mausoleum of the father of Bangladesh. In fact, this of course is during his two-day visit to Bangladesh. He also already in fact visited Thakurbari a while ago, which is the heartland of the Matua Hindus that interestingly constitute a sizable population in Bengal, getting the opposition to react also, in fact getting the ruling TMC rather to react, saying that this visit has been timed, keeping the vote bank in mind essentially. Well, he's visiting the Mazhar or the mausoleum of Banga Bandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. This is in Tungipada of Gopalganj district. This is his two-day visit to Bangladesh. This visit is being described by the government of India as a milestone in the relation between India and Bangladesh, and also spoke about the fact that New Delhi has been engaged with Bangladesh and also Myanmar to avoid refugee outflow that could impact India. That of course was a previous statement from the government of India. This visit is at the mausoleum of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman in Tungipada of Gopalganj district. This is a two-day visit of the Prime Minister to Bangladesh. The Prime Minister is at the birthplace of Banga Bandhu in fact, and this is a two-day visit. It's a state official visit of the Prime Minister of India. He's also visiting other places of historical importance and temples in Bangladesh. Earlier today, he was at the Jeshoreshwari Kali temple, from where he is now at the birthplace of Banga Bandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. This is in Tungipada, paying tributes to at his mausoleum. And sometime from now, he'll also be at Orakandi, which is the birthplace of the spiritual guru and founder of the Mathua community, head Harichan Thakur. Later on, he also has a bilateral engagement. This at around 3:30 this afternoon. Geeta Mohan is with us for more on that story. Geeta, this visit extremely important and also rare. The Prime Minister, in fact, at the Mazhar or the mausoleum of Banga Bandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman.
Well, that's right, Sneha. A very significant visit. The first time an Indian Prime Minister is visiting Tungipara and visiting the mausoleum, the Mazar of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. He lies there with his parents. He was laid to rest at the very same place. This is his ancestral estate. In 1971, the Pakistani military, at the behest of the Pakistani military, the forces over here entered in a coup d'etat, entered his house and murdered his entire family along with him. The only two surviving members were Sheikh Hasina and Sheikh Rahana, and they were not in the country. That's the reason why we still see Sheikh Hasina as the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, as an important political figure, not just in India, but in South Asia. But this is a very significant gesture, because apart from the fact that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is focused on what we're calling, apart from the foreign policy front, a political tour as well. The fact that he's gone to Jeshoreshwari temple as well as will be going to Arakandi. But this is a personal gesture. This is a message. This is something that he's doing for Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, as much as he is looking at enhancing his own clout, not just in Bangladesh but also across the border where elections are on. But the fact is that Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina made the special gesture of receiving him. There's growing a strengthening of ties between India and Bangladesh, but the special gestures that you see between the leaders is something that really makes a difference when it comes to how the entire relations and the and policy decisions are taken and tilted towards a country. Prime Minister Narendra Modi going to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's mausoleum in itself is a huge message that India continues to stand by Bangladesh and respects the war, the fight that was fought very ardently and voiced very, very strongly by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman in terms of the freedom struggle, in terms of fighting oppression. Prime Minister Narendra Modi made that quite evident yesterday when he wrote that message, when he inscribed that message in the book at the Martyrs Memorial, where he spoke about the oppression from Pakistan. He did not name the country, but he spoke about oppressors and the deceit of the oppressors. The deceit was this: not just about against the people of Bangladesh, but also against the entire family that won elections and had become a leader in its own right. He had become a leader in his own right. The family was together fighting for the freedom of Bangladesh, for the rights of the people of Bangladesh, erstwhile East Pakistan. Today, Prime Minister Narendra Modi over there clearly shows that the ties between the two countries are important for India. India attaches the highest importance not just to Bangladesh but to this family and the sacrifices made by this family. He is going to speak over there as well. There's an entire enclosure. There is going to be a small event like preparation that was underway when we had visited to see what the preparations are like, and after which there could be a small statement by him over there. It's not a very long stopover, but nonetheless a very important one. This is going to be marked. It is going to be marked as the first visit by an Indian premier to Tungipara, to the mausoleum of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. So a very significant visit there.
Yes.
The fact that there was a virtual summit that took place between the prime ministers of the two countries just a while ago meant that the bilateral meeting that is going to take place today will have substance, but it will not be that detailed. So while Prime Minister Narendra Modi wanted to show that special gesture by coming over here, and Bangladesh accorded India the highest respect by making the Indian Prime Minister, the Indian Premier, the chief guest of the event that the celebratory events that took place yesterday, 100 years of Mujib Barsho, that is the birth centenary of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and 50 years of Bangladesh's independence, that's the Liberation Day, the National Day. India was the chief guest, Indian Premier was the chief guest. South Asian leaders had come. It was a 10-day long program. We saw Bhutan, Maldives, Sri Lanka and Nepal, all of them attend on various days. But yesterday was when the entire event ended and Prime Minister Narendra Modi was there. He spoke about the freedom struggle. In fact, he said that he himself participated in the struggle and in a show of solidarity in India, where people were seeking to recognize Bangladesh as a nation and to give support to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and the Mukti Bahini. Indira Gandhi did play a very important role. The mausoleum over there and the museums are abound with photographs of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman with Indira Gandhi. If not for her decisive step, this certainly would not have been turned into a reality, Sneha, and that certainly is quite evident and visible in every nook and corner of every museum, every exhibition that is held over here in Bangladesh with regards to the freedom struggle.
That's right.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi making his visit to Tungipara, in fact, is a significant message that India and Bangladesh have withstood the atrocities from across the border and have ensured that they stand for the rights of their people and for freedom.
That's right. The Prime Minister also paying tributes to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman at Bangabandhu Mausoleum Complex there from where Geeta is reporting. Geeta, also the visit assuming a great deal of significance and playing out politically also back home here in India with the kind of outreach that the Prime Minister has made to the Mathua community there. The TMC here back home says, great optics and well-timed, keeping in mind the West Bengal elections.
Well, absolutely. Now, we spoke about the significance, the cultural ties, the policy decisions, the strategic outlook, and how this was a very well-planned visit. But Sneha, speaking of the politics back home, there is a lot of domestic politics in this visit. In fact, if one can say, this is one of the first and rare occasions where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is outside of a country, but what he does here could majorly influence an electoral the elections of one of the states in India. West Bengal is going to polls. He went to Jeshaveshwari temple, which is a very important religious site, one of the 51 Shakti Peeths. So a very important religious site for people from West Bengal as well. It is a Kali Mandir. I've been told that Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself is a devotee of goddess Kali. But beyond that, it is the last stop after the mausoleum. Is the last stop, which is the unmissable one, Sneha, and that's going to Orakandi. He'll be going there. He'll be going to the Thakurbari temple. I spoke with Subrata Thakur over there. He's the sixth descendant of Harichand Thakur, and he said that this is a moment of pride. There are many firsts that have been made over here in terms of visits. This is the first time again that an Indian premier is actually going to Thakurbari. We've never seen the Matwa community becoming so significant in an election in the past as it is. It has always been important, but not as significant as it is this time around. And this certainly, Sneha, will be considered a master stroke, because the Matwa community people that I interacted with over here were all guns, were absolutely in support of Prime Minister Modi. And there is, again, I keep saying this, but there is a positive spin to the Citizenship Amendment Act over here, especially in Thakurbari, where people are quite happy with the decisions of the central government in India on CAA that could very well allow Matwa community in West Bengal to be accorded or to be given citizenship. When I spoke to the working president, that's Subrata Thakur, he said that what they demand is citizenship and security of the Matwas on the other side of the border. Now that's a very important statement coming in from Bangladesh, from the Matwa community heads and important leaders and representatives, that this is what they're seeking in West Bengal. We know that the picture in West Bengal is very different. It has changed time and again with the blessings of Baroma going from left to TMC and then to Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well. So we will again have to see how this visit is really going to influence voting on the other side of the border. But what is key, Sneha, is the fact that he's not only going to offer 15 minutes pujo inside the temple and then interact with the priests and representatives over there. What is important is that there is an enclosure outside. Given COVID restrictions, it is a restricted number, but that restricted number also accounts to about 300 to 400 people from the Matwa community who he'd be speaking to and delivering a speech. Now that statement is going to be very significant. The idea of what he wears, yesterday he was wearing a Mujib coat. The idea of what he says and what language he uses is going to be quite important. So this is a make or break for BJP in West Bengal, but it certainly is a master stroke in many ways than one for the BJP here in Bangladesh as to how they have absolutely used the opportunity of having been invited over here to send out a few messages. There is a strategic message involved in how they're looking at Pakistan, how Bangladesh views Pakistan. There's an important diplomatic message involved where a Prime Minister of India says that they are going to stand not just by Bangladesh, but by the Sheikh Hasina government, by the Awami League government. What was interesting, Sneha, is that BNP was conspicuous with its absence yesterday when he met the leaders of opposition. That really shows where our interests really lie. And then there is this entire cultural, religious message as well, where he met with the Indian diaspora here. He was welcomed by them. He met the minority sections over here. And that's the messaging, that Hindus, minorities, particularly from the Hindu community across the world, would be looked at as they're our own as India's own, and their interests are our interests, which is India's interest. That's the messaging that Prime Minister Narendra Modi wants to put out. So when he goes and meets with the Mathura community, that certainly is going to be a key factor. That this is something that they're looking at, protection of the Hindus. While I have to keep saying this, and I keep saying this, Sheikh Hasina does a commendable job of how to keep radical Islamist fundamentalists out and keep them and contain them and keep them in control. But there still would be problems. There still are problems. Bangladesh still faces cases and incidents of minority persecution in some cases. While action is taken, India continues to maintain and raises those issues with Bangladesh time and again. So that again is another political messaging. So multi-layered messaging in one visit, absolutely action-packed. The visuals from Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's mausoleum, astoundingly beautiful when it comes to when you go there. You just get a sense of the struggle of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. There is a house that Sheikh Hasina has built right there. It's an open house, it's her residence. And if you go there, you'll see the photographs of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. The pictures that we all grew up seeing. Anybody interested in history and India-Bangladesh history would know what those pictures really mean, not just to people of Bangladesh, but people who have been interested in that part of history, even for people in India. So absolutely amazing the experience, at least for me too. And I have to admit this, it's not the first time that I've come to Bangladesh, but the first time that I also went to Tungipara because the Prime Minister went visiting. When you go there, you realize what a miss it has been to not have gone there in so many years. What a miss it has been for so many governments in the past to not have accorded that respect and honor, to just go there and pay their respects at the mausoleum of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Absolutely, the sense that you get over there, the kind of history that, the sense of history that comes back to people who have been a part of it and to us who have read as part of history is just amazing. So Sneha, this is an important visit, and the destinations that have been chosen strategically, but also have been chosen to not just ensure that India's interests are taken care of, that Sheikh Hasina's interests are also taken care of, because these visuals will resonate amongst the people of Bangladesh and will certainly resonate for the people, the party, the Awami League party and Sheikh Hasina.
Yes, a significant visit to Bangladesh. Gaurav Sawant is also with us. Gaurav, in fact, the government of India has said this, that the attempt is to reinforce a comprehensive strategic relationship that India has with Bangladesh also, isn't it?
It indeed is. So India-Bangladesh relationship is at multiple levels. People to people, culture to culture, religion to religion, and of course connectivity, which is key. Economy to economy. No two economies are as integrated in this region as are the economies of India and Bangladesh at this stage. And the aim is to take it to the next level. The aim is to ensure, you know, what we call, what Government of India and the neighborhood are now calling the BBIN. Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Nepal. Integrate these four economies, because nothing keeps the relationship closer and tighter as the economy does. Incidentally, Prime Minister Narendra Modi made a very significant mention. He said, had Sheikh Mujibur Rahman not been assassinated, had he still been there, what is happening today under his daughter would have happened in the 1970s, the close integration of India and Bangladesh, because this is a relationship, Sneha, that's been formed on blood. Indians and Bangladeshis have shed blood together, fighting evil Pakistan that carried out a genocide in then East Pakistan, current Bangladesh, where millions were massacred by the Pakistan army, and India shed blood to ensure Bangladesh was born.
All right, Gaurav, do continue to be with us. I'm just going to go quickly across to Geeta also for more on that. Geeta, when it comes to talking business, significant MOUs also to be signed along the dotted lines today, and it is restricted talks. Tell us more about what is expected as far as these memorandums of understanding is concerned.
Well, So it is going to be again a brief meeting because they already have had a virtual summit, Sneha, some time ago, and a lot came out of that. They also had inaugurated the vaccine, the Maitri Express, and now what we're looking at is another inauguration. What I'm told is that train passenger service will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Apart from that, there are MOUs that are going to be signed in the sectors, I could tell you, because the specifics have not been spelled out. They want to keep some under the wraps because it will be told only when the announcements are made. But in the area of trade, connectivity, we know security is a very important aspect between the two countries. No specific MOU on that part, but there is going to be discussions on that during the restricted level and the delegation level talks. It's divided into two. First, there would be restricted level talks between Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, followed by delegation level talks, which will again be followed by statements and a joint statement on the outcome of the visit. The MOUs and details are not known, but it is on trade and connectivity. Connectivity is a major part and a major thrust given by the Indian government and the Bangladeshi government in ensuring that there is more connectivity and that it becomes easier for not just goods and services but also people to connect and to move across border. So yes, passenger train service is what we're looking at in terms of inauguration. There is also going to be a significant announcement. In fact, Sneha, they wanted to announce it today, but the Bangladeshi government has already thanked the Indian government yesterday itself. That has to do with the vaccine Maitri and the fact that India continues to cooperate with Bangladesh in what Bangladesh really wants. 1.2 million vaccine doses was brought by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, which would be handed over to Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. But the 1.2 million vaccines did not come on his flight. It came separately in a private plane. But nonetheless, that's what Prime Minister Narendra Modi has brought from India for his friends in Bangladesh. And like yesterday, the Gandhi Peace Award was handed over to Sheikh Hasina and Sheikh Rehana in person. There is going to be significant messaging in many ways than one in what really Bangladesh really means for India, and that you'll be seeing in the statement. Whether it is economic cooperation, trade and connectivity, or for that matter, security cooperation. In all aspects, the joint statement will spell out much for what lies ahead for India and Bangladesh, and what really what really have the two countries really done so far. So all that will really be a part of the entire process that will start after he returns from Orakandi. I'd also like to tell you that they've not revealed to us that Prime Minister Narendra Modi, like he does when he goes for a foreign trip, has come bearing gifts. We do not really know exactly what the gifts are. Tried very hard finding out, but they said let's just keep some things under wraps and allow it to be announced once the gift is really given. So we'll try finding out what that gift really is, but he's come bearing gifts for Sheikh Hasina.
All right, but there are vaccines, Geeta, and I think at this time, I think no gift better than a vaccine, isn't it? And India has been generous in terms of grant and aid given to Bangladesh vis-a-vis the vaccines, obviously, given the fact that we have an advantage of our amazing production capacity that India has. Going back to Gaurav, Gaurav, you also, in fact, in the morning were in conversation with many political analysts, and they were saying that, see, this visit has not been timed by the Prime Minister. It just so happens that this is the first phase of polling in Bengal, and he's making an outreach to the Matua community. And why not? Given the fact that a lot has been said about in the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, how this community essentially backed the BJP and helped them win 18 Lok Sabha seats, isn't it?
They indeed did. And this is the Prime Minister attempting to integrate all communities together who, to an extent, as the BJP says, were marginalized. Of course, Mamata Banerjee also reached out to the Matuas and Boroma in a very big way. And that is why 2016, in the assembly elections, the Trinamool Congress benefited from this. In 2019, the BJP benefited, and it remains to be seen who benefits more in 2021. So there was a very interesting conversation that was happening, that apart from the Chatterjees and the Banerjees and a lot of other surnames in Bengal, you see see a lot of new surnames that are coming up, contesting elections, fighting for elections, and also people who are considered marginalized playing a very big role. And that is where the Mathua community comes in. That is where the Rajbansis come in. A lot of others, the Kurmis, the others, those in scheduled caste, they come in and play a very important role. But when you look at these images of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Sheikh Hasina, look, India's invested very heavily in Sheikh Hasina, and she's invested equally heavily in India to ensure that India and Bangladesh, two secular democracies, and that's extremely important. That is how Bangladesh, that was born 50 years ago, cut off from Pakistan, you know, when Pakistan was sliced into two and Bangladesh was born. Look at the different trajectory of a democracy, Bangladesh, and where an Islamic state like Pakistan has been reduced to. And the Pakistani commentators today are talking about it. Take any of the indices, Sneha and Geeta, take a look at whether it's GDP, whether it's healthcare, whether it's education, whether it's income of individuals. Bangladesh is way higher on many counts at Europe's level, and where Pakistan has been reduced to a vibrant democracy, Bangladesh, and a failing state, Pakistan. So this is where India realizes that Sheikh Hasina being in Bangladesh, ensuring it remains a secular democracy, because remember, as Geeta has been reporting constantly, you know, Begum Khalida Zia's party and others, they not only boycotted it, with them, Pakistan's ISI was trying to make major inroads in Bangladesh. Also the fact that Sheikh Hasina has been cracking down on radicalization, radical Islam, and the Islamic State and Daesh, which was not happening earlier. So that is why the two economies will grow, this region will grow, when two secular, vibrant democracies move forward. And that's the tree that is being planted, because that is exactly the Bangladesh that Sheikh Mujibur Rahman had in mind. Sneha.
Yes, absolutely. Also, another significant statement that had come in from Sheikh Hasina also the last time around, Geeta, is that she's spoken about the fact that India's role, and that's a significant one in this entire region, for an economically and a politically stable South Asia, isn't it?
Well, that's right, Sneha. The speech yesterday was emotional, it was forceful, it was not a weak one, it was not one coming from a position of weakness, but a position of strength, but yet a very, very emotional moment where Sheikh Hasina spoke about and thanked India profusely for the kind of role India played in the liberation of Bangladesh. Also, a very emotional moment for Sheikh Hasina when she remembered her father and the manner in which her entire family was assassinated. So it's a sad day, yet a very a day to remember how Bangladesh today stands, only because of the sacrifices made by the people of Bangladesh, by the leaders of Bangladesh, and by the people of India. So there are a lot of sacrifices, but there are a lot of blessings, which is what she counted yesterday, thanking India profusely for the role that India has played. And that really shows the kind of cooperation that India and Bangladesh have. They go beyond the normal diplomatic so to say jargons. It is just beyond that. It is to do with the fact that there is a natural bonding between the two countries, a natural bonding between the two peoples, and that's why one cannot do without the other in this region. While there are parties such as the BNP, particularly Khalida Zia, who have not really been supportive of India or really come out in helping and cooperating with India, Sheikh Hasina certainly has been a factor, that an important factor of stability, not just for India but for the entire region. Containing the elements that Gaurav was just talking about was very important, not just for India but for the region. But for India, it is really good to have a government that understands that radical fundamentalists do not take a country beyond a certain point, do not take a country far. Bangladesh has absolutely come quite far. They are way ahead, as Gaurav pointed out, in their GDP, even ahead than India. They're a smaller country, but a stronger country today. Their security apparatus much stronger than before. And all that is because Sheikh Hasina and the government over here quite quite determined that they need to ensure that the loopholes of the past, the little areas that allowed the radical fundamentalists to take space, to usurp space, is not really accorded or given to them. And that's the reason why today we see a safer Bangladesh, but also a safer South Asia. Bangladesh Prime Minister also made it a point to ensure that this occasion is not just to engage India, but to engage South Asia, to make Bangladesh's presence felt. And that's the reason why
Yes.
she engaged the top leaders of South Asia, Maldives President, Sri Lankan Prime Minister, Bhutan's Prime Minister, Nepal's President. All of them were here in the 10-day program that was followed by the ending, the culmination of the event
Yes,
was
Geeta.
with Prime Minister Narendra Modi as the chief guest, and the event last evening was spectacular with messages from leaders across the world.
Absolutely. We'll come back to you for more on that. This conversation will be on. Geeta, also Gaurav, do continue to be with us. For the moment, it's time for a quick break here. Much more news, that story and much more in just a bit.